Greetings people, welcome back. And well, for today I'm gonna grab another of the replay files I've been setting on the side. This one is taken from the GosuCoaching Premier League. As you guys know, it's a team event, so each player representing its team plays one single game, no best out of 3 or best out of 5s. And well, if he takes the win, he takes one more point for his team, and in the end they'll just sum all the points and see which team took most victories. And well, those players will be the victorious ones, that team will be the victorious one in the end. And well, we're gonna have here a matchup between two German players. You guys already read the chat, so I'm assuming you know both of them. It's gonna be the yellow Protoss, mouzHasu, also known as HasuObs. He was a former Warcraft 3 player, transitioning to Starcraft 2 on its early stages. And he's going to be facing here against one of the community favorites, LiquidTLO, TheLittleOne, also German, so hence a German versus German matchup. And he's now playing random once more and got Terran this time. He already been playing Terran, as you guys know, and Zerg as well, but he's back into random playing. And here he is, as a Terran player, facing against one of the finest Protoss playing in the European servers at the moment. Keep in mind that HasuObs is quite experienced. He's been playing on the tournament scene and also on the ladder for a long time, and he's probably one of the most solid Protoss players playing in Europe currently. So I think you're going to be going here for a pretty intense match. What plans does HasuObs has here? I was wondering if he was hiding something there on that little corner, maybe a pylon to surprise TLO, but I guess that won't be the case. And following the matchup, as you can see, we just have a small pursuit inside TLO's base, trying to finish off that probe, but doesn't seem like it's going to be possible for now. And TLO preparing the first racks out, so soon you're going to have Marines to finish off any kind of arrest that this probe might attempt. One gas play for now, still no second gas. And meanwhile, on HasuObs' base, apparently he's not very concerned with getting a proper wall off. This gateway is far behind, and he's placing a proxy pylon all the way here on the north side of his base. It's gonna work obviously as a motion detector if any drop comes from the north, but as well might be used to hide some tech. While on TLO's base, the racks already put out the first Marine, so I guess that probe won't be able to show up here a lot more. Still trying to pop once more, but I guess he's gonna get shot instantly. Yeah, HasuObs is just microing it and checking what's on top of that ramp and pulling back once more, while TLO taking a look with his SCV, watching that HasuObs is just going for gateway into cybernetic score. So for now, a fairly standard opening. With this probe trying to be annoying, HasuObs apparently wants to get into that place and take a peek, because TLO for now getting the racks and the factory. Wonder if it's gonna be a 1-1-1 or if you're gonna have a starport next. No second rack, so I'm assuming that he's gonna prepare some kind of early pressure, maybe pushing out with some Marines backed up by Hellions, or make a small push with siege tanks. I guess we're gonna have to wait and see. For now there's no tech lab attached whatsoever. There's the first tech lab getting attached to that barracks. Let's wait and see which way this is gonna head. HasuObs controlling the Xel'Naga watchtower, and meanwhile inside this base we get gateway into cybernetic score and a fairly fast robo here. Okay, so I wonder what's his plans with this robo. Maybe just getting some observers and take the information out that he keeps missing might be an option, but I'm assuming that he might be wanting something else. Fast Colossi, Immortals. I guess we're gonna have to wait and see. For now, as you can see, on the TLO side, he's getting some Hellions out, so he's preparing himself to get plenty of scouting, maybe make sure there's no proxy pylons roaming around, incoming that pesky probe once again, and ooh, that was close, 1 HP! Oh, that was really close, but survived, pulling back HasuObs, and the first Hellion is already at the ramp from HasuObs, not gonna be able to enter obviously. There's kind of like a quirky wall off here with 3 units and a gateway on that corner, but guess it will work for now. And this probe still roaming around, not gonna be intercepted by this Hellion just for a second, just so close but not enough. And meanwhile on TLO's base, plenty of Marines coming out, more Hellions, there's plenty of Hellions already, and both of the racks already have tech labs, getting both upgrades at the same time, as you can see, the shields and the stim pack, while we have a small confrontation here with the Hellion forces from TLO facing against the small bulk that has been established close to the Xel'Naga watchtower. Well, basically it's a stalker for now, with that probe heading back, the surviving probe, 1 HP, keep that in mind, and the observer now taking the spot, taking the place of that probe. It's gonna take a look around, see what's going on TLO's side. Whoa, saw a massive push here. Marines backed up by Hellions advancing straight south, and I guess that TLO won't allow HasuObs to advance much more. From what I could see here, he even attempted to get an expo, you could see that on the minimap, but got cancelled in time, and now advancing and trying to establish his forces right on the front of the main base from HasuObs, basically containing his movements. I'm not sure if he was even attempting to get that expansion, but apparently he was. But now with TLO right on front of his door, this is going to be complicated. On the back of HasuObs base, we have the robotics facility, more warp gates getting done, and now the robotics base. So fairly fast Colossi incoming, I would say. I wonder if he's even going to go for the extended thermal lens at the same time as well. But playing out of one base, it's not that simple to just get everything rolling as fluid as two base Protoss, for example. But waiting a little bit and taking a peek at what HasuObs is doing, I guess we're going to find out soon enough. For now, he's just probing, while on TLO side, he's taking advantage of this containment that he promoted here to establish his natural expo. So command center getting built there, not even flown in, just built straight into the place. And meanwhile, inside his base, he's getting the starport. So backup for his bio forces, maybe Medivacs, or even might consider transitioning into some late Banshees, but I don't think that might be the option. I can picture him backing up with Medivacs his forces and attaching that starport to the reactor and getting defenses against any kind of air threat, including Colossi, obviously, and there's already one coming out. So preparing some counters to the forces from HasuObs and pulling back with all of his forces. I guess he just decided that it wasn't enough at the moment. He didn't have what it takes to just break into HasuObs base, and HasuObs just taking advantage of that and moving out with his forces, establishing kind of a forward position here on this area to defend while he prepares his natural expo, avoiding losing too much time on the economy game. Let's take a look. At the moment, as you can see, TLO is pulling ahead, also establishing all of his forces here on the front of the base. Kind of hard to defend, as you guys know. There's plenty of entrances, ways of making surprise attacks or flanking your opponent. It's just the day-to-day routine on a map such as Zelnaga Caverns. And now those Hellions still flying around, trying to harass a bit longer, but the Stalkers are just in position, making sure they won't be able to go any further. But this observer has been keeping tabs on everything that TLO has been building, so HasuObs has all the information he needs to keep preparing proper counters. Not sure if he's gonna go that way or not, but I'm assuming he is, if he wants to stand a chance on this matchup. On the natural expo, as you can see, there's plenty of mules already. There's a flank getting prepared here by TLO, but he's pulling back once more when you saw these forces advancing into the Zelnaga watchtower closer to his base. The forces also got all pulled back. Now he's advancing with enough resistance to put out that small group of stalkers. It's only 4 of them, but I guess we're just playing cat and mouse here. It's just back and forth for both players, showing up their forces, but not actually beginning and starting any kind of conflict. And meanwhile, TLO moved his factory to this corner here, getting a reactor, and so we're gonna have a lot of mech production incoming pretty soon. Not sure if he's gonna go for a lot of Hellions to back up his forces, but I'm assuming we're gonna have some siege tanks. At least it would make sense sooner or later. For now, it won't be the case based on the fact that there's the reactor attached there, but I'm assuming that he has a plan for it. Gaining control of both Zelnaga watchtowers, HasuObs just popping back and forth, trying to contain his opponent. Oh, this Marauder is going to have a very short life. There it is, finished off. And though TLO took the information he wanted and finished off that observer, now he's going to move ahead into that Zelnaga watchtower and pull away, shove away the forces from HasuObs, finally releasing that control of the Zelnaga watchtower and attempting a drop with Hellions straight into the main base of HasuObs. Will they be able to reach the mineral line? Yes, they were able, but there wasn't much of a worker force there. TLO just pulled them all and they got a single kill. Also, there's absolutely no blue flame Hellions here, no infernal pre-igniter, and some stalkers getting set here to defend in case some kind of a harass occurs once more. Meanwhile, inside HasuObs base, as you can see, there's already the Twilight Council with Psionic Storm getting ready, and also the Templar Archive. So I guess we're gonna have some High Templar base play soon enough. They're quite solid against bio play, and TLO has plenty of it. Let's take a look at the unit composition. 14 Marauders, 13 Marines, 5 Vikings and 5 Hellions. So plenty to size storm around on TLO's forces, I would say, and now he's advancing with the bulk of his forces. One single Colossi backing up this small death ball. Let's take a look at the army count. 132 against 110. So this means that TLO has been leading the way on the army. He's not that far ahead, but he is ahead. And this might spell trouble for HasuObs, being forced to pull back. Those Vikings were trying to snipe the Colossi, but wasn't even close. They were able to scratch the shields, but that's basically it. Another observer's been flying around the bases from TLO, making sure that he won't be caught by surprise. HasuObs won't be caught by surprise. And incoming size storms melting away that small group of Hellions. Only one of them left. Ooh, massive damage there. Getting now the Infernal Pre-Igniter. So I am assuming he's going to get a lot of Hellion play and no siege tanks whatsoever inside. So yeah, my predictions were absolutely wrong. And Ghost Academy now to back up the forces from TLO. Ghosts are quite effective, very interesting units to use against Protoss players. Those EMPs removing all the shields from the Protoss units are quite awesome. But keep in mind that feedback can make some damage as well for the High Templars to just hurt onto that bio ball that apparently TLO might be preparing. Command center getting ready and built to fly to this place. There's a Zealot here keeping tabs, and meanwhile the bulk of the forces from Hasu just flanking on the full right side, probably trying to make sure there's nothing there waiting to for HasuObs to establish his third base, to just enter by storm and destroy it instantly. There's plenty of units moving around on this area from what I can see, and now focusing his fire on the destructible rocks. So will he be going straight into the rich mineral field? Apparently that's the plan, but TLO is pulling ahead with his forces. All of those Hellions advancing. Oh, several of them getting really damaged by the size storms and the shots from those Stalkers. Also keep in mind that the Zealots already have charge, and now he's getting blink for the Stalkers, which are also a very effective upgrade for those units. Incoming a massive push with steamed units straight into the forces from HasuObs. HasuObs trying to pull back, but those High Templars are so slow. Size Storm trying to hold back the aggression and make sure he's not going to lose too many of those Size Storms. Successful, he was able to reach his base, but now this third base is very fragile, pretty undefended. There's a single photon cannon here, and it's going to get destroyed so quickly with all of these Marauders trying to snipe the Nexus, but the forces arriving finally from HasuObs and shoving them away. So nice defense, while HasuObs meanwhile had this Zealot here, making sure he wouldn't be allowing TLO to land his command center and forcing TLO to send a small group to finish it off so he could land and expand to his third base. Oh, massive EMP, look at how many shields it took out there. Brutal. Now shield going up, trying to reinforce a bit the resistance from all of those units with no shields, but I mean there's not much going on here. As you can see, just the massive forces from TLO are trying to finish off this very hurt force from Hasu. HasuObs able to push back the forces from TLO, but TLO is just waiting to reinforce the front line. Incoming a lot of Size Storms, grinding down all of those Marauders, and TLO is not micro them properly. There's a lot of them going down because he's not even moving them out of the Size Storms now. Nice move there, avoiding the Size Storms. Still lost plenty of units there. Let's take a look at the army counts now. 144 for TLO, 121 for HasuObs. Still TLO leading the charge, once again with more reinforcements, pushing ahead towards this rich mineral field. More Size Storm play, trying to keep separate the forces and make sure that TLO won't be able to just charge into the forces from HasuObs. Meanwhile, as you can see, TLO already established his third base on that area. He needs to start working on that mineral line to benefit from the income and getting the rich mineral field at the same time as well. So working out of 4 bases pretty soon, while HasuObs is preparing a small force to advance here, flanking from the left side. We're gonna follow it on the picture-in-picture while we follow on the main screen the massive battle ensuing here. High Templars on the second line, making sure they're not gonna get hit by any kind of aggression from TLO. EMP going down, picking up some of those units, and now the rest of the forces with a lot of medivacs now getting healed and slowly chipping away and grinding down the forces from HasuObs. So Mineral line here, planetary fortress, there's no workers whatsoever for now. There's a single High Templar here, which I'm assuming is preparing himself to start doing Psi Storms on top of that mineral line. Viking showing up and he's gonna intercept it. Oh, he still was able to pull out one, but I don't think this High Templar is gonna go much further away. He needs to fall back. Nice blink there, finishing off that Viking and saving the High Templar, so nice move. With yellow landing the command center now, and finally having the ability to play out of 4 bases. This is going to give him an incredible boost, while this mineral line keeps getting harassed over and over again. Obviously is a result... Oh, they just passed by that High Templar. Very, very awkward. But like I was mentioning, it's a result of this proxy pylon that's on this corner that is allowing HasuObs to slowly push units and make small groups advancing into that corridor that pops out on the left side of the Natural Expo and keeps harassing those mineral lines from the 2nd and 3rd base. I guess that TLO needs to finish off that pylon sooner or later. For now we have most of the forces from HasuObs advancing once again into that rich mineral field. A lot of Psi Storm play, grinding down all of the units that dare to advance into the Psi Storms. More EMPs advancing here. There was an attempt of flanking on that area, as you can see, with the Hellions coming from the south, but I guess it was just thwarted. The Hellions weren't strong enough, and more Psi Storm play advancing with the Zealots preparing themselves to charge towards the units from TLO and wrap this up. Look at him just focusing the power all of his forces on that planetary fortress, finishing it off, so no more rich mineral field for TLO, and the bulk of the forces from HasuObs advancing towards the forces from TLO. TLO is getting really hurt on his army, and all of these charging zealots are just slowly slicing and dicing, backed up by this Colossi into the forces from TLO. I think we might have a twist on the fate of this match. As you can see, TLO was leading the way for quite a long time on the army count, but now he's just dwindling down. He's suffering a lot with the aggression from all of these units here that have been being warped in and sent in to get a lot of Psi Storms on the mineral line. That hurts obviously his economy. As you can see, he's falling back by quite a bit. 48 harvesters against 65, and these High Templars war pins that are being made from this pylon have been very precious for the HasuObs to take the lead on this matchup and being able to push back TLO, making sure he's not going to be working out of 4 bases, that rich mineral field that he just finished off, and now apparently he wants to finish off this 3rd base that he has been harassing for a long time, and this just gonna hurt more and more the economy from TLO, while HasuObs advances into another base, a 4th base there, and his forces are gonna get intercepted here. You can follow the small incursions on the north into the bases from TLO on the picture-in-picture screen, with TLO being forced to GG after all of this aggression by HasuObs. He was playing on several fronts, as you can see, having High Templars, Zealots, sending Psi Storms and slicing and dicing all the SCVs on the mineral lines, not allowing TLO to have some proper rest, and basically, well, he has his main base completely weared out and wasn't able to replenish his forces fast enough to allow him to resist the aggression that HasuObs was applying on him. As you can see, at the moment we had 3 bases against 4 bases, and that 3rd base from TLO was getting a lot of aggression, so it isn't easy, and HasuObs just dominated this match. Though he was falling back for quite a while, he slowly was able to grab his way in and just break in TLO with that High Templar play and all of these war pins. They were very well played and forced TLO to just divert his attention to a lot of locations. Okay, well, game done. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. See you all later. Have fun.